Tilley's being a bad boy.
I don't know about that one. They're more like kissing cousins.
You been golfing? I was out here, it was me, Spud, Ron.
This bike might be too smart for half the people that buy it. Got my FMF vision. I got nothing for that. The Tigre?
That math equation comes to success. Good morning, welcome back to the Dirtbike vlog. Today it's a little bit of a short day. We have the all new 2024 Kawasaki KX450X. Now this is the Kawasaki KX450 motocross models. I would say off-road cousin. It has a lot of the updates and parts that the all new KX450 got. Mark's putting on some numbers to look racy. He doesn't want to be out in the middle of nowhere and not look cool. So he's putting on some decal numbers here. Decal Works numbers. Kurt Caselli Foundation. We always run that. Mark, have you ridden this bike yet?
No, I actually picked it up from Kawasaki yesterday, and Ron Lawson is going to yell at me because I didn't take it to the studio first. I didn't shoot it in the studio. I was pretty excited to ride it. We've ridden the motocross.
Ron, we're sorry. We're riding the bike and making it dirty. Tilley's being a bad boy. And
exactly.
You can spank Tilley later.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That's a little extreme.
I won't be there for it.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I won't be there for it either. So yeah, we're straight out here riding. It's a little bit of an overcast day, but straight out here riding and checking it out. There's a lot of people doing stuff to these in general. The airbox is an issue. A lot of people are saying that this bike is slow. I don't think there's any difference when it comes to mapping wise between this bike and the motocross model. There's not very many differences between this and the motocross model, like you just said. They're more like kissing cousins because they're so close. There's same size tanks, same size, all the components are the same, except for tires. It's got AT81 Dunlop tires. They're specifically for off-road. It's got a 18-inch rear wheel, but other than that, valving is a little bit softer on the off-road model, the X model. But like I said, other than that, not a huge difference. It's basically the motocross model, kind of tailored a little bit more towards off-road. There's a couple things that we kind of look at and go, well,
I'm gonna stop.
Bike.
Yep, I already know where you're going, and I was gonna point out 3. Let's see if they're the same as each other. So I have 3 right off the bat. I was looking at the KX450X this morning on the way down here. There's 3 things that kind of stood out to me, and it's not really a big deal, but when you're spending double digits for a dirt bike, upwards of $10,000, just some things I would like to have. Handguards, 1. Yep. A larger tank, because I know where these guys are going. I know how long this tank will last, and it's not quite enough for a fast guy like him. And thirdly, I would love to see a skid plate on the bike.
You hit it. Those are the things. Handguards is the first thing.
And granted, right, you're gonna, the guys that are hitting or going more aggressive, they're gonna buy some bark buster crazy things, but it is nice to at least have something on the bike out of the gate.
Yeah, and it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense that they wouldn't come up with some kind of handguards or team with an aftermarket company. Yamaha does that with their GYTR stuff. They team with an aftermarket company. I believe it's Cycra. KTM, Gas Husky, they all have their own handguards, which, is kind of one of those things to where that's the first thing we do when we go off-road is handguards. Does
the Honda 450 RL come with handguard stuff?
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
I don't, yeah, the RX.
No, RX, but I was thinking also dual sport, the RL. I don't know if that. Does the RX?
I don't think so. It does have a bigger tank though.
You're right, it does. So, and I think skid plate. Yeah, and there is some stuff there, like this X came with a skid plate a couple years back. So now it's an option. Kawasaki now has some options with a pipe, a skid plate. There's some other stuff that's on their website for that stuff. But it is a bigger tank,
yeah, maybe not. Maybe some guys are gonna do, you know, they don't need that. They're not going for those long rides. I'm really happy that they're making this. So we're being really nitpicky when it comes to this kind of stuff, but it's one of those things to where, think about it. They've kind of, with the Brembo brake and some of the upgrades that they made to this bike with the, now they have the app to where you can do stuff right away. The airbox on this thing is really small, but it's kind of cool because, so that's no tools airbox. Like you pop those things off,
crazy,
and this thing comes out. Like, so it's really, it's interesting to where they're doing a no tools airbox, just like what, you know, KTM Gas Husky's doing. There's a lot of other companies that are doing it as well, European companies that are doing it. And then, I mean, even Yamaha has the Zeus fittings and stuff like that they can get their stuff off. So that part's kind of cool, like making innovations and doing stuff. And then, like I mentioned before, the app, they have the Rideology app that you can do everything from your phone now, just like, and it's pretty good. We've been messing around with it on the motocross model, and you know, it's easy to change stuff and do stuff once you understand it. So, but there is those things. The kickstand, it's kind of incorporated with the peg mount. It's a little archaic. It's all steel and heavy, and you know, but like, again, we're definitely nitpicking this. I mean,
that looks like a kickstand off the USS Midway, dude.
It definitely does. I mean, but it's got an O-ring chain. So they're upgrading that kind of stuff. So it's nice to see Kawasaki looking at the market and going, hey, that's stuff that we want to do.
On the chain, because it's O-ring, does that mean you're showing us your O-face?
I got nothing for that. I got nothing for that comment. So yeah, you got the O-ring chain. They did change the gearing in the rear, went from a 51 to a 50, the ODI grips. So it's kind of cool. They're seeing some stuff. It's still adjustable. It's still got the adjustable peg mount, still got the adjustable bar mounts in here. Like I said, they upgraded the grips. It's got a big old huge thing here. Sometimes we get confused with this stuff, and when you're just going to like hit something, you end up hitting the button closest to you.
That would be something in off-road. I could see a lot of the fast guys either like hiding it or putting it somewhere just so it's out of harm's way.
Yeah, well, and I mean
you see it on the Supercross thing too.
Yeah.
Like they're hiding those big map switch things wherever they can just to get them out of the way and not get
because
damaged.
Most of those guys, once they get to a certain point, like they're not changing maps mid-race or doing anything like that.
They're set.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of guys will change the starter from this side to that side. The other part with handguards is you're getting a lot of stuff on the bars. So there is a couple companies, I think Enduro Engineering made a handlebar mounted thing that went to the back of the clutch and the brake. And now that this brake is
like
different,
an integrated perch.
Yeah, but it's a handguard system. And now with this new brake on there, it won't work. So they'll probably come out with something else, but it's definitely something kind of cool that doesn't take away more bar thing, because bar space to mount handguards is getting kind of, with all these different controls and stuff like that, it's getting a little bit tougher. But you know, we joked around when we did the motocross model, but this bike might be too smart for half the people that buy it. I know it's too smart for me because I liked the system of changing couplers and doing that stuff, because once I got a bike set up, I didn't really change it. Like I'd kind of go and then that way you're not chasing your tail going, oh, well, you know, if I had this other map in, I would have done better today or whatever. Like kind of set up a bike and then make it work good everywhere. And then it's on me to adjust to it, to track conditions and stuff like that. So the lots of new innovations made it to where it might be a little bit better in tight technical stuff. Maybe not as tailored to West Coast off-road, more East Coast off-road and tight technical tree stuff and stuff like that. So it might lose a little bit of stability at really high speeds for, you know, the West Coast desert and Grand Prix type stuff. But, you know, we're gonna try it today and see what happens.
All right, Tilly. Let's see if you remember how to do this.
Got my FMF Vision.
I don't even want to know what's in that pack.
That doesn't suck. Like, that's awesome.
You been golfing?
Yeah, that was, we were out here hitting some balls, you know, going long with some hitting balls.
What, is this a par 4 course? You kind of ride like Tiger, and you're about the same age. They call him Le Tigre.
Le Tigre?
In Puerto Rico.
Huh. Well, maybe I might want to go to Puerto Rico.
They call you Le Tigre Tilley.
Well, I know that Brad from Kawasaki likes to go down to, I think it's Colombia or something like that. I wonder what they call him in Colombia. We'll have to ask Brad that.
Yeah, El Chapo.
That smile was for something.
I knew you might be a little upset about what's to come, but I've warmed you up and I've gotten you ready, and I think you're ready for real off-road, the real thing. Cody
That's
Webb.
Like Cody Webb style off-road.
Up, over, and there's even a little rock downside. I think you can do it. I think the KX450X definitely can. So if we get talent, bike, mind, matter, all of it combined, that math equation comes to success. And that's what I'm looking for right now.
I think I'm not going to commit to this. I'm going to go look at the other side, because your little rock thing that you're talking about is probably like about that big. You're thinking that I'm Cody Webb and I'm not Cody Webb.
I've just written the math equation to success. All you need to do is follow it.
Famous last word.
See? Look. See the little rock? Bink, down, easy turn, easy peasy. This is off-road. Spud Walters, you know, all those guys, they all did it.
You know Spud wasn't good at off-road, right? Like, I know you just like saying his name, but he did lots of photos, but being an off-road guy was not his forte.
Spud used to smoke cigarettes and do this like it was nothing. I was out here with, it was me, Spud, Ron,
and Gary Jones. Probably.
And Gary Jones. Yeah. We're out here smoking cigs and doing rocks.
Wrong kind of rocks, but okay. I don't know how I could get that angle.
You wheelie.
No, but if I wheelie like this, it's not long enough for the whole bike to get up there and then be able to turn. Okay,
first thing is wheelie. Check it out, and then get up there, and then look at the next.
You got problems. that's a big deal for me. Cody would have not even thought twice about it.
Well, the
and
other,
he would have wheelied off the other side.
I was gonna say he would probably like hop onto that little thing that like not even a BMX bike could fit on, and then hop down into the little one and then get off.
All one-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's kind of...
And you'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, like, oh, that was all right. Like, I remember riding with him out to places and going, why did you just do that? And he goes, well, because I like to freak other people out that come out here riding, and all of a sudden they just see a tire mark way up there, and they're just going, wait a minute, like, who did that? It's like, yeah, that's pretty impressive. That cool.
Just got done scooting around on the KX450X. What do we got? What do we think?
I mean, when you have conditions like we had, we showed up today, a little bit overcast and foggy, and then you have good dirt, kind of doesn't suck at all. But impressed with this motorcycle. It definitely has some little quirks to it that need to work out a little bit. A lot of people are saying that the suspension's a lot softer than the motocross model. I think it's just more progressive. Like it moves more in the very beginning and then kind of goes down further in the stroke. So I guess if that's softer, then that's what people think softer is. One thing that I really like about this motorcycle compared to last year's is the sound of it. Like the muffler's a lot quieter than last year. Right around, the other thing is gearing. They went from a 51 to a 50. And for me, it lets me keep it in second gear a lot more. Whereas with the other one, I was caught in between second and third. Power-wise, I mean, this thing has more power than I would say most people know what to do with. I like the how it comes on so easy and just kind of progressively builds power. If you want a little bit more there, you hit the clutch and you go. You really notice off-road wise, I really notice the strength of the Brembo brake up front. It works better compared to last year's model. It works better in really tight technical stuff, like the stuff that we were riding today. It does lose a little bit of stability at high speed, like we did some high speed runs, and the front end kind of loses a little bit of that stability that the 19 to 23 model has. But I think that with some adjusting of suspension and stuff like that, you can get that stuff back. Again, I'm comparing this to a bike that we got familiar with over the last 4 years or whatever, and it's definitely something to where now you got to kind of get another package together. But it's they definitely didn't go backwards. I don't know, like I said, a lot of people saying that it's slow. The one thing I have an issue with on power wise is that it revs and it keeps revving and keeps revving, whereas it wants to be ridden like a 250F, and it's a 450, so I don't want to ride it like that because naturally you don't want to blow them up. But it revs, and even when you're kind of shifting up to that next gear, like you're kind of wondering, okay, is this where it's going to stop? And it doesn't really have a ceiling. So overall, first day riding it, like I can't wait to go test some other stuff. We got some slip-ons from FMF and Pro Circuit, and maybe drill some holes in the airbox to open that up. Like I said, for me personally, I don't think it needs it, but we'll do it for the betterment of the viewers, naturally.
And you're gonna be racing this bike?
I am. I'm gonna race this in NGPC, SRAs. We might hit some works races, but set it up for West Coast off-road stuff. Might even try some West Coast hare scrambles stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna go out and do a hare and hound, but even I think back east for a lot of stuff like GNCC, I know Baylor and his team are on these bikes this year, and I think they're gonna do really well. It's kind of for the tight technical wood stuff. We have some of that out west, but not as much. We have tight technical trails like what you saw today, but it's definitely a different genre per se, that setting a bike up for West Coast off-road. So I think the guys back east are gonna like this platform a little bit better than the last platform.
All right guys, so yeah, short day, just shot the 2024 KX450X, one of our stomping grounds. We shoot a lot of photos and video here, but kind of a smaller day. Usually it's a bunch of bikes. Today, just the 450X. Ron is actually back east testing the new Yamaha YZ450FX and some other bikes with our test rider Jared Hicks. So we're on the West Coast, just picking up the slack a little bit out here. That's it for this vlog. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see the full test and more in-depth review, obviously hit our YouTube channel. We'll have a test video there on the 2024 KX450X, and head over to dirtbikemagazine.com, where we have all the latest news and reviews in the off-road and motocross industry. So we'll see you guys on the next one.